My name is Stacy Dostey, and I'm here today with Mary Beth Paquette, the Executive Director of the Rural Community Action Ministry, otherwise known as RCAM in Leeds, and I'm also here with Crystal Hatch, who is the Homelessness Prevention and Shelter Coordinator. Today we're going to be telling you about RCAM and the great things that they do for the community. So tell me about RCAM and how it came to be.
We've been around since 1970. We were started by local ministers. We're a secular organization, not church-based now. And I'm not even sure we were church-based then, but we were started by ministers who collectively had a concern about their constituents and people in their community that were hungry and had mental health issues and were dealing with poverty. So they all got together and started RCAM as an organization to address those needs.
That's wonderful. Great. And can you tell me about the programs that you offer?
First, I wanted to say that what towns we serve.
Oh, that would be wonderful
We
to know.
serve, the ministers came from, and therefore
Okay.
the towns we serve are Buckfield, I have to do this alphabetically. There's 13 towns.
Wow.
Buckfield, Canton, Greene, Leeds, Hartford, Litchfield, Livermore, Monmouth, Turner, Sumner, Sabattis, Wales, and Wayne.
That's quite a large area.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. We receive funding from those towns as well.
You do. I did
Yes.
see that on your website. That
Yes.
And there are also other agencies that provide funding.
Yes, United Way of Androscoggin County, of Kennebec County, of Oxford County, and of the Tri-Valley area. And Maine Housing supports our shelters.
Great. Great. That's good to know. Now let's talk about the programs. I noticed on your website you have quite a few programs that you manage here.
Yes, the couple that I cover, I cover the family shelter and the senior shelter. We have a 10-bed family shelter that serves families, and a transitional unit that kind of helps for that transition between shelter and being ready to be back out in the real world. For various reasons they might go there. And we also have a 4-room senior house that is a shelter, but they can, once in there, they can stay for as long as they'd like, and their rent is paid with a subsidy through Maine State Housing.
And that's really valuable, for seniors.
It's
in the
one of
area.
a kind, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. You don't hear about very many shelters in the state for seniors.
It's the only one.
Yeah, it's the only one. Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive
Yeah.
to have it here in
Mhm.
Leeds, Maine.
Yeah.
That's great. And any other services? I noticed you had other services that you provide.
Yeah, another one that I cover is homelessness prevention, and that covers so much. Right now, I'm doing a lot of fuel assistance. People will call with a disconnection notice from CMP, and I might call CMP and work out some kind of arrangement, and perhaps have to financially help with that as well. Eviction notices, security deposits, along with some guidance on helping budget and prioritize their expenses. I help with food and hygiene products, Christmas, Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner, all sorts of things. Back to
Diapers.
school clothes, diapers, various things, and it's really client to client. Everybody's needs are different, and we like that. We like to keep it that way, to keep it client to client without so many regulations in place.
Right. Now, what about the ages of people that you're seeing? Is it all across the board? I mean, you've got seniors, obviously, but really young people.
So it's anything but teens we would send to an organization that is more specific for teens.
Right.
But other than that,
Yes.
and that's not to say that we haven't helped teens, but there are organizations that gear to help.
New
teens.
Beginnings, for example, is a
Yes.
shelter and has programs for teens
In Lewiston.
in
Yes.
Lewiston.
Yes.
We have other programs, our senior transportation program specifically helps teens or people with disabilities who need a ride to medical care, medical appointments. So we have, I think, at last count, 47 riders and 11 volunteers who drive those folks to medical appointments and routes. They might do a pharmacy trip or a grocery trip. We also have a housing program in which we do minor home repairs for people so that they can stay in their own home. We really are about homelessness prevention.
Right.
So we might help to fix a roof or a ramp or a lot of things this time of year come in, help with their heating systems in the summer, septic systems. So that's a busy program that Laura runs.
Maybe some winterization in there for this time of year.
That's important. Yeah.
Our hunger prevention program includes gardening. So we
nice.
this year had 55 gardens, and we help people with seeds, seedlings, and tilling so they can grow their own vegetables. And then we have classes on canning and food preservation so they can eat through the winter.
Oh, that's really great. I need
Yes.
something like that.
Do you?
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have established hunger coalitions around in our service area as well. And those coalitions have chosen to focus on backpack programs. So we've helped to initiate backpack programs in many of the schools
Oh, that's great.
in our area. I'm going today to Buckfield Junior and Senior High School to help them get one started. So it's pretty exciting to see what's going on.
Yeah, now what does that include? I think of the backpack program, one of the organizations has at the beginning of the year, they send the kids with, everything that they
School
need.
supplies.
Yeah, is
Yes.
this different or is
This
it
is food.
food?
So
Okay.
food goes home with children for the weekend. They might
okay.
get a lunch through school, but then we worry about how are they eating on the weekend. So many of the backpack programs in the schools are connected to the local food pantry. So food is provided by the pantry or by some other fundraising effort. And they get food for lunches and snacks over the weekend.
Okay, well, that's a great thing.
It is.
That's a really great thing. Good. Okay. So what do you think differentiates you from other organizations?
Well, the fact that we just serve this area, that we just serve people in the rural area, I think is very unique to us.
Absolutely.
We get calls from Lewiston and Auburn and Augusta and Farmington and all over the state. And our shelters are open to people from anywhere in the state, but our other services are just for our 13 towns. So that's one way in which we're unique, is that we just serve rural areas.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
Great. Great. So what do you think your beneficiaries would say is the best thing about your organization? The people that benefit from you, what do you think they'd say?
What do you think they'd say? Well, someone said something yesterday to you that was very complimentary about RCAM. The woman that you helped to budget and to...
Yes, she said, I met with a client yesterday who came in for different things. She needed different financial help and diapers and that sort of thing. And when she had left, she had thanked me for the time I took with her, and not for just handing her the papers that she needed and telling her to call them and send her on her way. She said, you put a lot of time and care into this, and it's giving me a whole new perspective on how I need to go home and do things. So that was really good to hear that I did take the time with her, and it really helped her. It paid off more than the diapers I gave her and the other assistance that we helped her with.
That's great. Most people just want to feel important or that they're being heard, and it
Yes.
sounds like that's what she was feeling.
Yes. Yes. We have we're well known in the communities that we serve, and I think that people would say that we do well in what we do, and we see that through support that we get. People come to our fundraisers and send donations and volunteer with us, and I think people see that we're a unique organization and benefit a lot of people.
A worthwhile organization.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, Mary Beth, how did you become involved in the organization? How long have you been here? How long, what keeps you here? Why, how long have you been involved?
I began in the spring of 14, so about 4.5 years. I've always admired, I live in Monmouth, one of our service areas, so I've always admired RCAM. I did some volunteer work for RCAM before I came on board, so when the job opening came up, I applied. My background is in social service and in social service administration, so it was a really good fit, I think. And it really is just such a wonderful, what did I used to call it when I first came on board? I said, we're a tiny but mighty organization or something like that. It's really we do so much with so little.
Yeah, that's really great.
Yes. Larry Marcoux, who used to work for United Way, has since retired, said that RCAM can really stretch a nickel.
That's a nice compliment.
That was a nice compliment.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Now, what about you, Crystal?
I became involved with RCAM when my family came into hard times, and they helped my family. We were actually in the shelter, and shortly later were offered positions, and here we are today. Just bought our first home, and RCAM has been a true blessing for my whole family. So
That's wonderful. How do you think RCAM has improved over time?
I think one of the good things about RCAM is that our programs, our basic programs, have been the same for 48 years. And that, I think, makes us really special, is that our focus hasn't changed. It's on eliminating homelessness, eliminating poverty.
Right.
I think we've changed in that the world somewhat has changed in terms of addressing poverty. I think the stigma is beginning to lift a little bit. It used to be, people, it's your fault that you're poor, it's because you're lazy, it's because you're whatever. You don't want to work, you don't take care of yourself well. So I think we played a role in that to a degree. So in that way, I think RCAM has improved over the years. I think, as with any agency, the longer you're around, the more people know you. So our presence is more well known. And because of that, more people support us and more people use our services.
Right. Well, let's talk about the face of homelessness for a moment. When I first got here, we were talking about that a little bit before the interview started, and talking about today it's not what people used to perceive it to be. And can you talk a little bit about that?
yes, I think that's another thing that possibly the world is starting to view homelessness a little different, because in reality, well, first of all, rural homelessness compared to urban homelessness is different. You may not see homelessness in rural areas like ours. People are sleeping in their cars, they're sleeping in tents, whether the tents are in the woods or in a family member's yard. They're sleeping in campers, they're sleeping wherever they can, abandoned buildings. We've got it all, and our files are huge with the calls that come in from these people that are homeless. So it's big, and while trying to address that, we're also trying to bring awareness to it, that it's not what people may have thought it was years ago. It's not right in front of your face, or it is right in front of your face, but you wouldn't know it.
Right.
It's happening to people from all different sorts of backgrounds.
And I've heard reports that talk about people get gym memberships so that they can shower daily.
Absolutely.
And live in their car.
I just had a family that they were still in their home, but the home had no running water and no heat. So they got a gym membership and went and showered at the gym every day.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Yes.
Wow.
So in lots of cases, you wouldn't necessarily know it.
No,
Right.
no, your classmates, your coworkers, and you wouldn't know it.
Yeah, still go to work every day. That's the other thing about homelessness that people don't
Yes.
think about. I would say, what percentage of the people that live in our shelter are employed? At least half.
At least half, and then the other thing is, the other half may have had a job, but then homelessness caused them to lose their job because they couldn't leave their family in the car all day while they went to work, or they couldn't keep up with their hygiene, or they just were spending too much time looking for housing. So by the time they get to us, they may have lost their job, but by the time they leave, they have a job again. So yes, they're not lazy.
Yeah.
They do still work and they do still try.
Just come on hard times.
Yeah.
When I speak to groups, we get United Way funding, as I mentioned, and they often include agency staff in their, when they talk to corporations, when they're trying to get corporate funding and employee funding. And I say, any one of us in this room could be in this situation if we get laid off tomorrow, or if we have chronic illness, or are without a couple of paychecks. That can really, really set people back, and they might need to call, any of us might call and need help with fuel or something that you don't even think about.
Right,
You just
take it for granted.
Yes.
Right. You're totally right. Well, how do you think that RCAM has improved over time?
Well, as I said, I think more people know about us. We are able to serve more people. More funding we have, the more people we can serve. So there gets to be a point in the heating season when we say, I'm sorry, we've run out of funds. So that's difficult. So I think in terms of funding, that has gone up and down over the years, depending on what grants are available, what the community is willing to help us with. Right now we're in a slump. There's been fewer less foundation money coming in. So we really need that to help to address all the needs that we're asked to address.
And winter has not even started.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, last winter was a very early, very long, very cold winter. Feels like this one might be too. Last year, our fuel assistance doubled what we had budgeted. What we spent doubled what we had budgeted, as did our transportation assistance, doubled what we budgeted. So we've increased our budget in that way and need to fulfill that by finding funds to be able to cover that.
Right. That's so important.
The fuel calls are already coming in every day.
And the fuel prices are increasing.
They are so badly increasing. And I'm being told that they're not done. They're going to increase several times by the end of the season. So that's scary to all of us.
It certainly is. Yeah. So what are the goals of the organization for the next 5 years? What are the plans? Anything big planned or?
The board has a needs assessment that they're working on so that they can develop a long-range strategic plan. So that's in the process now. How we're starting is gathering information on each of the towns. What is the exact poverty level? What is the need out there? What other agencies are addressing some of the needs? What's not being addressed? What role does RCAM play? We also are looking at how do people perceive us? Are we getting to the people we need to? Do we have a positive reputation, and yes, face is our face good out
Right,
there.
right.
And then also talk to former clients or current clients and get a sense from their perspective as well. So it's a big project. They hope to have something in place by the end of the year so that in the spring they can work on a strategic plan that they'll put into place after that.
Great, great. Well, that's positive.
It is, it's exciting.
Yeah, that's good. What barriers are in your way and how can people help with that?
Want to talk about that a little bit?
Funding. It always boils down to funding. The more funding we have, the more we can help people, the more people we can help. And like Mary Beth said, is that we still have gaps in the budget that we need to meet so that we can at least do what we plan to do in our budget year.
Right. Right now, what about volunteers? If someone would like to volunteer?
Absolutely.
Yes, we always take volunteers.
Yes, and all skills are welcome and encouraged. We get many calls from residents along with keeping up with our own 4 properties, transportation, painting, there's a lot, office work, we welcome and encourage all skills.
Okay, great, great. So is there anything special coming up for RCAM?
Yes! We have an empty bowl supper coming up. We do it annually. The week before Thanksgiving is National Hunger Awareness Week. So every November we do an empty bowl supper. This will be our 4th. This year it's in Litchfield at the Sportsman's Club on November 10th from 4:30 to 6. And we have, you may see them collected around here, we have pottery bowls that are homemade locally that for $10 for adults, $5 for children. You receive a bowl that you can fill with soup. And we also provide salad, breads, desserts, drinks, and we have a silent auction that night as well with pottery items. So it's an exciting night, and it helps us to raise money and awareness about hunger in our area.
Great.
For example, 1 in 5 children in Maine is food insecure, and 16, which is 20%, 16% of elderly in Maine are food insecure, meaning they're not sure where their next meal will come from, or they don't have food that nourishes the body. Those stats come from the Good Shepherd Food Bank, which does a lot in Maine as well to provide food.
Oh, those are pretty high numbers.
They are. Maine's up there. It's in the teens in terms of hunger in the country. The state that we are, I don't know, it might be 16, 18, number 16 or 18 in hunger in the country. It's too bad.
Yeah, it is. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. We've had, we have a big garden behind our senior house that we provided food in a stand out in front.
I saw that on my way in.
Yes. So people come and get that food. It's free. And some farmers donate. Some farmers and gardeners donate food for that.
Good.
For that. And extra food we distribute to the food pantries. We have a nice relationship with our local food pantries, and that's one way in which we can help.
Good.
Yeah.
That's great. It's good for people to know.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's wonderful. And you have a Christmas program?
Yes, I get very excited for the Christmas program.
Does Santa come?
Well, she's Santa. She's Santa's helper.
Yes. It's a wonderful program. I love doing it. So anybody from our 13 towns, if they've already tried to get help in their own town and it's either not available or they've missed deadline, they can call us and get on our list. we really help fill in that void, especially for people that may have missed the deadline or there's just not anything in their area. So many reasons of why people might need extra help for the holidays.
Right.
And that's where they call us, and it's a wonderful program. It's
Good.
very successful.
Good. And how can people help with that? Do you take donations?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So most of the Christmas gifts for the families and seniors come from donors, which they contact myself, and they might adopt a family or a few kids. So I will send them the ages and genders of each child and their wants and their needs. And then they go do the shopping, and then they bring the gifts over and the families come pick it up.
Good.
Some companies also donate money
Yes.
earmarked for the Christmas program. So whatever families and kids aren't taken, we'll use that funding and shop and get what the kids need.
Right.
We did they do it this year again? One company that specifically donates pet food.
Oh,
Yes.
So
nice.
we can distribute that as well. Seniors in
Yes.
particular are very grateful.
That's
for pet
actually
food.
a middle school in
Oh,
in
that's
Turner.
great.
In
That's
Turner,
nice.
Trip
That's
Middle
nice.
School
The
does that for
staff,
us.
right?
Yes.
Yes.
That's
That
something
is
you
nice.
don't think of.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't think of the pets, you're thinking
Right.
of kids when it comes to Christmas.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's really,
Yeah.
really
Oh, that's
nice.
wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Great. What does the community need to know about RCAM? Where can they find you? What's the website,
The website is rcam.net. Our phone number is 524-5095. We're located at 81 Church Hill Road in Leeds. And our email addresses and the agency phone number is on that website. If people need to know more about what we do and how they can get involved, they can go to the website.
Great, great. Well, thank you for meeting with me
Thank
today.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Great.